Hello, my name is Michelle Roberton, and today's video is inspired by a running and very significant theme that I was aware of within about 85% of my female clients, and a theme that very much interweaved its way through my own journey of feeling safe into being a woman. And this theme I like to call mother wounds. The relationship we have with our mother is the first relationship we have with a woman, and this relationship is designed to have nourishment, nurture, safety, and warmth. And these four qualities enable the baby to thrive and flourish and reach all its full potential and explore its full potential in a very safe environment through childhood, through teen years, into young adulthood. So it's then able to fly the nest of all these strong foundations of feeling safe in their own skin and to be an adult in the world and interact with life and others. But in Western culture, in many generations of women into mothers and grandmothers, there has not been this relationship, these strong foundations of nurture, nourishment, safety, and warmth. These four qualities are especially essential for a young girl that's going into the transition of into young womanhood. That transition period is really important, and we tend to look at the way our mothers and the women around us treat their bodies, treat food, the way they interact with men, their beliefs on sex, and how they behave as a woman. And not only do we look at those behaviors to imitate, but also our mothers can project onto us as young girls their own beliefs about sex, their own beliefs about men, their own beliefs about bodies, their own beliefs about food, their own beliefs about how safe it is to be a woman. So there is this imitation, which is kind of that nurture or nourishment, and there's also our mothers can project onto us their beliefs and their fears, and sometimes these beliefs and fears were even held by our grandmothers. That transition stage from girlhood and womanhood is meant to be an easy pathway that enables us to feel safe in the changes that are happening within our bodies, with menstruation, within our hormones, and for our mothers and our grandmothers to hold that space and gently kind of take us, birth us from young girl into womanhood, so that we can arrive in our womanhood feeling safe in it, and that it's good to be a woman and it's a celebration to be a woman, rather than everything coming from a fear based. So if we haven't had good relationships with our mothers, or nurturing relationships with our mothers, if our mother years, those young years, have been rocky, how does this show up in our life? Well, for me personally, it meant that I didn't feel safe around other women, and I had a distrust of other women. I would tend to kind of shy away and feel very uncomfortable and very uneasy if someone had said to me, 8-9 years ago that I would be, or even less than that, 5 years ago I would be working with groups of women. I would have thought they were off their nut, that they were absolutely bonkers, because there was just no way. And today my passion is to fully support women into owning their bodies and their womanness and their sexuality and sensuality. And how that happened was to feel safe, to reverse that, to feel safe in my own womanness, in my own body, in my own sexuality and sensuality, so that then in turn, and to heal and be aware of these wounds that I was holding that weren't necessarily mine, to look at my relationship with my mother and to reflect that into how I was feeling around other women. So it can show up in our relationships with other women and how we're feeling in a female environment. It can also show up in how we feel about being enough. This thing, I'm not enough. And it's because very much when we're growing up, where was the encouragement? Where was the empowerment? Where you told you were loved and adored? Did you feel enough? Did you try and keep things quiet and, not try and disturb or rock the boat? How was that showing up for you, this not enoughness? It can show up in how we move through, sorry, my camera's just gone a little bit wonky. It can show up in how we move through our own creative endeavors and life, and when things get too tough, do we have the courage? Do we have the own self-empowerment to move through that, or do we get stuck? It's that, those times in our childhood when we would give up, want to give up and not try. Was there someone there empowering us to push through, encouraging us, yes, and believing in us that we could do that? Was there someone helping us to reach our full potential and helping us to recognize who we were and to grow these strong roots that this tree, this amazing tree of you, can grow out of and from? It can affect the way we behave with men. It can affect the way we feel about sex. There's a lot of women I've seen that actually their beliefs about sex were very much their mother's beliefs about sex. Good girls, and good girls don't do that, and good girls don't dress like that, and sex is for in marriage, blah blah blah. So all these beliefs we're carrying. So it's to be aware of these mother wounds. Is what was very beneficial for me was to all the motherly qualities I was giving my own daughter was to turn around that external mothering into an internal mothering. We can't expect our mothers or our grandmothers to suddenly change and become what we needed them to be, or may even still need them to be. It's a case of learning to be and become your own mother, so that this thing, these qualities are not missing, and they're not something that we're seeking on and dependent from another. Because when we're women, we're adults, it's to actually be able to give that empowerment and that nourishment and that nurturing to ourselves. So these mother wounds really do hold us back from moving into our womanhood and into our bodies and into our sexuality and sensuality. And so I would highly recommend that you take some space to step back and breathe and ask yourself, is this mine? Is this really what I believe? Or is this something I was told as a young girl growing up by the women around me or my mother? Or is this a belief that she had that I am carrying for her? And just by taking that time to step back and to notice what is yours and what is hers, and to maybe, detach from that, will make a huge difference in your life. I also highly, again, my whole videos this week have been highly recommending yoni egg practice, because this really does bring up for review and dissolve a lot of mother wounds that we may be carrying. So if you have any questions or comments, or is there something you'd like to share, sorry my camera's terrible today, and get some feedback, then please feel most welcome to contact me, because it'd be a real pleasure to support you and help in any way I can. So take care, and I'm very sorry about the wonky camera. and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.